Okay, good evening, everyone. I would like to call this special city council meeting to order. It is called in accordance with section 3.07, 6.11, and 6.12 of the Home Rule Charter and 2.04.060 of the City Code. I hereby call this special meeting on Monday, May 16th, 2022 to order. Madam Clerk, can you please take the roll?
Councilwoman
Present.
Councilwoman Mazzulli.
Present.
Councilwoman Vargas. Councilwoman Jermaine.
Present.
Councilman Donegan. Councilman Campiano.
Present.
Councilman Riley.
Present.
Council Vice President Ferry.
Present.
Council President Pavlakis.
Present. On the agenda tonight is two items for reconsideration. The first is the resolution levying and ordering the assessment and collection of a tax. And the second is the capital improvement budget, but I'd like to handle those in reverse. So at this time, I'll take a motion to take the docket out of order.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion on that? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
Councilwoman Marino.
Yes.
Councilwoman Mazzulli.
Yes.
Councilwoman Jermaine.
Yes.
Councilman Donegan. Councilman Campiano.
Yes.
Councilman Riley.
Yes.
Council Vice President Ferry.
Yes.
Council President Pavlakis.
Yes. And before we begin, I'd just like to have Attorney Angel just give a synopsis of what's in front of us this evening before we get going with any motions.
Thank you, Mr. President. So you have before you essentially a reconsideration of the resolution relative to the tax levy, as well as the resolution relative to the capital budget. As the council is aware, this session, you were called back into session pursuant to the mayor's request that a special meeting be held to reconsider these two items. As the council is aware, I had distributed a confidential attorney-client memorandum to all of you this afternoon that addresses these issues and also addresses the issue relative to the rainy day fund. And while I will not talk on the legal opinion that's given on these issues here, I will generally speak and answer whatever questions you may have. But first of all, each of the items would need to be reconsidered. There would need to be a motion made by a member of this body who was part of the prevailing vote. So a member of the six would have to make a motion to reconsider each of these items. The second on that motion for reconsideration can come from any member of the body. If the body then votes in the affirmative to reconsider the item, the reconsideration is put to rest, and you can have debate on the motion for reconsideration as part of Robert's Rules of Order. But what happens next is then a motion would be put on the floor either to approve or disapprove of the particular resolution, with debate to ensue, followed by a vote. And certainly there can be amendments during the course of that debate. I don't know if that clears up the process relative to reconsideration and a new motion being put on the floor, but if it doesn't, I'm happy to take your questions on that.
Thank you, Attorney. Does anybody have any questions for Attorney Angel at this time? Councilmember Donegan?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Attorney Angel. What are the duties outlined in the charter relative to what we have to pass?
Well, without getting to the opinion that I've expressed as to particular outcomes, this council has a duty to provide a tax levy. You essentially have to fund the city. That's done by tax levy. Failure to do so disables the financial apparatus of this city and its ability to issue tax bills, to collect revenue. that levy is directly related to the bottom line revenue number projected for the operating budget as proposed by the mayor and as passed into law, given the vote of this council. So there must be a correspondence between that and the levy. Presently, this council 6-3 has voted the levy down. There is no ability presently for the financial apparatus of this city to raise the revenue that it needs to fund next year's fiscal responsibilities.
Thank you, Attorney. So the tax revenue assumptions that the budget makes that has been enacted or by default, whatever, however we want to say it, that will become the law for fiscal year 23. In addition to the assumptions that that budget and holds or assumes, we also have to subsequently pass the resolution on the tax levy.
Correct. My suggestion to the council president and to you, all of you collectively in my memorandum, was that the capital budget be addressed first. And if I may, if I've answered your question on the levy, to move on to and I assume that there would be questions on the capital budget. The failure to pass the capital budget creates a couple of issues of immediate concern with respect to the finances of the city. First and foremost, there are capital projects in progress, including bonding and financing of those projects. When I say projects in process, you're talking about contractual arrangements that are in place for the work that is to be done on those projects. Those contractors, subcontractors, and vendors sign those contracts with the expectation that they would see that contract through to its logical conclusion, and that they would be paid for their services and their goods. Presently, a denial of the entire or disapproval of the entire capital budget essentially causes a de facto cease and desist with respect to that. So you have contractual obligations that are set to be unfulfilled in light of the failure to pass that, at least that portion of the budget. With respect to proposed work, if you will, you have things that voters have approved to be bonded that have gone through a planning process in the administration, and they've been proposed. This council, policy-wise, through its work with the administration, can choose perhaps to defer some of those prospective projects in order not to incur additional debt service. With that said, however, and I don't have this at my fingertips or in mind, given the short time frame, but I can tell you that there may be language in the referendum that went to the voters that make that impossible to do. There may be other things in place that make that impossible to do. When I say impossible to do, impossible not to fund those projects. My recollection is that in the prior election cycle, the voters of this municipality made their mind up that they wished to spend a significant amount of money on school improvements, prospective school improvements. That's one issue. It's also my understanding, however, as I looked at the budget, that there's at least one school in process. For example, I think it's Gladstone. Or am I wrong? Is it Garden City? I beg your pardon. So you're looking at Garden City. That project will not be funded in this fiscal year. And I saw that a beam was signed and assumed that there are a few others on top of which that one belongs. So that's an issue. There's been much talk at this council about its desire for clarity relative to street paving. And a list, without getting into all of that, that is too funded by your capital budget. So there would essentially be no street paving in the fiscal year 22-23 if the capital budget stands as it is.
Thank you, Attorney.
With respect, by the way, Mr. President, if I may, with respect to the particular numbers, I would like to thank Mr. Igo, who is your acting finance director, for generously spending some time with me last week for me to provide some of the specificity and clarity on the numbers that I've provided to you in the memorandum. And I certainly defer to him with respect to specific numbers. I know of immediate concern to the council was the bottom line of the budget number was $330 million in terms of the overall budget. There's about 7 million of that, and I'm rounding numbers, so please don't hold me to it. I defer to Mr. Igo for specifics, but about 7 million of that is a one-time expense. So all things being equal, if next year's budget does not add another penny to expense or to revenue, let's just assume for the sake of argument, you're looking at roughly a $325 million budget. And that's, that's really plays into your question, Leader Donegan, relative to the rainy day fund. And I've written on that to you extensively in the memo. And I know that that was a concern. Just to be clear with the council, the charter was not violated relative to the rainy day fund with respect to this present budget. And we needn't get into that tonight. It is not an agenda item, but I just say that in passing as the council has had several issues of concern brought to its attention in the last week or so. Are there other questions?
Thank you, Solicitor. Any other questions for Solicitor Angel while he's at the podium? Seeing none. Solicitor, thank you very much. Very thorough and a lot of information there. Certainly appreciate it. At this time, I will ask for a motion to reconsider the resolution adopting the capital budget and capital improvement program submitted by the mayor for fiscal year 22-23.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Riley, seconded by Councilmember Donegan. Any discussion on the motion to reconsider? Council Vice President Ferry.
Will we be voting on the amended capital budget from May 4th?
So once the motion to reconsider is done, we'll entertain a motion to approve that. At that point, the capital budget that is in front of us, I clicked on the link, does not have the Budlong pool, and it does not have the turf fields that were taken out by the council at the last meeting.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other discussion? Seeing none. Madam Clerk, please take the roll. And this is just to have the option to reconsider. So a yes would be to reconsider.
Councilwoman Marino,
Yes.
Councilwoman Renzulli,
Yes.
Councilwoman Jermaine,
Yes.
Councilman Donegan,
Yes.
Councilman Campiano,
Yes.
Councilman Riley,
Yes.
Council Vice President Ferry,
Yes.
Council President Paplaskas.
Yes. Now I'll entertain a motion to approve the resolution adopting the capital budget and capital improvement program.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that? Seeing none. Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
Councilwoman Marino,
Yes.
Councilwoman Renzulli,
Yes.
Councilwoman Jermaine,
Yes.
Councilman Donegan, Councilman Campiano,
Yes.
Councilman Riley,
Yes.
Council Vice President Ferry,
Yes.
Council President Paplaskas.
Yes. Motion passes 8-0. Moving on, I'll entertain a motion to reconsider the resolution levying and ordering the assessment and collection of a tax on raidable real estate and tangible personal property at such a rate to be fixed by the city assessor.
So moved.
Who made the motion? Councilmember Riley made the motion, seconded by Councilmember Donegan. Any discussion on the motion to reconsider? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
Councilwoman Marino,
Yes.
Councilwoman Renzulli,
Yes.
Councilwoman Jermaine,
Yes.
Councilman Donegan, Councilman Campiano,
Yes.
Councilman Riley,
Yes.
Council Vice President Ferry,
Yes.
Council President Paplaskas.
Yes, now at this time, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the resolution levying and ordering the assessment and collection of a tax rateable real estate intangible personal property at such a rate to be fixed by the city assessor.
So moved.
Second.
A motion to approve and a second. That was by Council Member Riley, seconded by Council Member Renzulli. Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
Councilwoman Marino,
Yes.
Councilwoman Mazzulli,
Yes.
Councilwoman Jermaine,
Yes.
Councilman Donegan, Councilman Campiano,
Yes.
Councilman Riley,
Yes.
Council Vice President Ferry,
Yes.
Council President Paplaskas.
Yes, motion passes 8-0. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? I see none opposed. 8-0. Thank you, everyone.